Alright, going to be creating a bootable USB for Ubuntu here. In this one I'm going to be doing Ubuntu 16.04, so head over to the downloads page for that and go ahead, and I downloaded already the Ubuntu 16.4 or .04 beta desktop 64 ISO, so I've got that downloaded already, and I'm also going to be using Rufus here. This is just something that I use. I'm not sure if it's the best. There may be something better, but I use it and it works. So go ahead and download that and open that up. And once you've got that open, go ahead and just select the USB drive. Make sure you've got the right one selected. You don't want to be deleting any data on accident here. I left everything at default, so this is what my settings were for default. This is I guess what it's going to be labeling the USB drive for me, and go down to, see here, create a bootable USB disk using, I've already got ISO image selected, so make sure you've got that selected if you're doing an ISO, and go ahead and click that link to choose the ISO, and here we go. I've got the desktop. Make sure you've got the right one. If you've got multiple ISO files, go ahead and open that. And we're just going to go ahead and hit start. Okay, so just go ahead and read this here. It's just saying that I've got multiple options here. I do have the ISO, and I'm just going to go ahead and continue doing that. Over here we've just got another indicator saying everything's going to be deleted off of that drive, so you want to make sure that there's nothing important on it. I just have a previously created server ISO installed on there, so I don't care about that. So go ahead and just hit OK. And this is just going to keep on doing what it's doing until it's done. So we'll come back. And boom, there we go. It's ready. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that and try and boot from it. And here we are with the USB stick. And we just go ahead and plug it in. There we go. That step's completed. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and press the power button on the computer, and I've got a gigabyte motherboard, so for me to boot to my USB, I've got to be hitting the F12 key. So that's going to give me the option to choose my boot up. Okay, here we go, and I'm going to go ahead. My USBs show up under my hard disk, so if you go to any of these USB options here and your disk isn't in there, your USB that you created isn't in there, go ahead and go to your hard disk, and there you go. You can see my ADATA USB drive. You may want to make sure you only have the drive installed that you want to install your operating system onto, so you don't mess anything up. So you can see I've got two other drives here. You'll probably want to unplug yours just to make sure you don't mess anything up when you install the operating system. So go ahead, select to boot from the USB. Alright, so let's go ahead and install Ubuntu. I don't install the updates when I'm installing it, and I don't do this either, because for me, I don't know what it is when the install is going, but it tries to use IPv6, Internet Protocol version 6, instead of version 4, and I don't know why, but I have issues connecting. Anyways, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to erase the disk and install Ubuntu on it. It's the only operating system that I want to have installed on that disk, and this is the disk that I'm going to be using right here, my 60 gigabyte solid state, kind of my test drive. And here we go, install now. You can do the advanced partitioning tool there, so if you want to create your home directory, if you want to customize that size, if you want to customize swap, any of that stuff, you can go into the advanced partitioning tool, but I just use the whole disk. But anyways, like I was saying, I don't install those updates during this install progress because I have to go in and disable IPv6 because it just sits there forever trying to use IPv6 until it gives up on that and uses IPv4. So I wait until I can disable IPv6 and then run the install. If anyone's got any solutions for that, go ahead and let me know. It's kind of annoying. It's very annoying actually. Okay, so here we go. It's finally figured out what it's gonna do. Right here, these are the changes that are gonna be made. That's fine. I'm gonna allow it. I don't know why it's being so slow here. Okay. I just skip through this here. Fill in your information. This is the motherboard that I'm using. It's an Ubuntu, so I put a little U in front of there for my computer's name. Create your password. Mine's not too secure. I'm not gonna do any of this stuff, but you definitely can if you want to. And here we go. Just let this run. Alright, here we go. Installation has been completed. So go ahead and restart now. And what I do on the restart is once the screen goes black, go ahead, remove your USB disk. And here we are. We're going to be waiting again. What you're going to want to do, if you don't already, you can go ahead and just make sure that you select your boot disk here. Otherwise, I do have mine set to default, but if you can go ahead and go into your BIOS and set to make sure your default boot drive is the one that you installed it on. And there we go. Black screen. Alright, here we are, booted into that first disk that we installed it on. Let's go ahead and enter my password, which is very complicated and tricky, as always. And there we go, we're installed, up and running on the disk that we installed it to.